So now that we have PostGIS installed, the next thing we're going to do is install a library that will convert our addresses into point objects. And then we're going to override our create process so that whenever we create a casino instance, it will automatically create a location based on the address provided. So the first thing we have to do is install a new library, and this library is called geocoder. And it's really does the job we need to do very simply, and we'll run through it, but the documentation is here so you can follow through it, and that's what we'll be doing, so you can just follow along with me if you'd like. So we'll install it here by pip install geocoder, and now that it's installed we can test it out by going into the shell. Import it here, import geocoder, and we can test it out by saying g equals geocoder Google, and we'll just put in Las Vegas, Nevada. And now you can type g.lat long, and it'll give you a list with the latitude and longitude. And then of course if you want to pull out just the latitude, you just call the index 0. And now we have just latitude. So that's it for that. Really pretty simple. So what we're going to do is go over to our create process and override it so that we can pull the address out and quickly create a point object for it. So up here we'll import geocoder. And we'll override the perform create process. So the first thing we'll do is pull out the address from the initial data. And this is just the initial data being passed in through any post request when you're creating a new casino object. And then we will call the geocoder on that address. Now, the way I'm setting this up, it's not checking for bad addresses. There's a few different ways you can do that, but I'm going to leave that one up to you guys. This is just basics on how to get it working. Long, index 0, and the longitude g.lat long of index 1. And finally we can create our point object. Like so, and this will just be string concatenation so that we can set it up with the similar syntax that we saw before in the shell in the point object. And we need a space in between it, and the latitude, and finally a closing parenthesis. And also don't forget that these are numbers being pulled out, so we'll have to turn them into strings so that we can concatenate them. So a little messy looking, but this is what we're looking for. And that should create our point object. And then we can now save the serializer by calling the location equal to this point string that we just created here, and that should create our point object. So we can test this out. Try doing it with the debugger. Okay, we go over to our list create casinos, and actually I already see a problem here right now. Location is not a read-only field, so first we're going to have to fix that and make it a read-only field. time. Okay, so now they won't be expecting a location on our post. So we can try Bellagio, and we'll just call it Bellagio Las Vegas. I don't even think we'll need the full address for the geocoder. Now, be careful when you do stuff like this, because I did try something like the Iron Yard Las Vegas and it gave me completely false coordinates, but for mainstream casinos in Las Vegas it should work okay. So we'll try posting it. It gets paused here. So right here you can see in the initial data, serializer initial data, we have our address, and it's Bellagio Las Vegas. It's pulled out here, and now our geocoder, and it seems to have worked fine. So we'll get our latitude, and we get our longitude, and see if our point object comes through. And as long as it comes through with no errors, we should have our new, and there we go. So now we have Bellagio Casino, and it has a location, and the address is just this. I mean, we could probably do better and give it its real address, but you know, this will work for our purposes. We'll now be able to query this by distance, and we'll do that in the next video. All right.